Vénganse, vénganse, vénganse. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey, friend. How's it going?
That's what I get for opening.
No, and then that's what I get for like waiting to be cued onto the video camera up there. I'm like, wait, are we on?
Is this thing on?
Are we real now?
Is this thing on?
Like, do I just watch what I say?
Yes. Watch
So-
what you say.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
We have a special guest that is audible. Is that right? Is that the right term?
It is term.
On audio?
She's on the phone.
She's on the phone.
She's joining us. She's on the phone. Yes.
Yes, all the way from Georgia. She is a dear friend of the podcast, a tarot card reader, a Reiki practitioner, an intuitive healing guide. And Jasper, I don't know, but you're going to have to confirm, what is a 2-4 projector? I got this from your Instagram. So what does that mean?
Let me get Jasper on the line.
Jasper, where are you? Girl.
Natalie.
I'm over here talking to
Natalie
myself.
came out of the
Oh my God.
Natalie came out of the womb running today, homegirl. Come on.
To think that I'm sleep deprived entirely. Well,
This
maybe all
is
of us are.
Natalie.
Here we
I'm
are.
Ricky, raised behind the scenes.
Yes.
And we're gonna get Jasper on the phone. The call dropped. So let's
Oh, Jasper, let's
Yes.
get you on, girl.
let's see if technology is on our side.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because she had a wonderful intro. You gotta introduce her all over again.
Damn it.
Hello,
That's like
ladies.
a one hit.
Jasper, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Jasper, I
Are we
just
live?
gave the introduction of a lifetime and you missed it. So we're going to have to do it again.
Sorry.
Do over.
Do you really?
Yeah, she's doing it again.
Okay.
We have a special
Sure.
guest joining us audibly.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I had to stop.
No.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Jasper.
I was like, yeah.
Is she on speaker? No.
Or like, does she have us on?
Oh, Jasper, do you have us on speaker?
Better.
Oh, yes, there it is. See, Ray knows.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Jasper. It's our first day on the job.
It's okay. Also, my first day on the job on this end of things.
Oh
So,
man.
Technology.
So I was
Yes.
telling our listeners that you're in Georgia right now. You are one of our great friends. You're a tarot card reader, a Reiki practitioner, an intuitive healing guide. And I got this from your Instagram. You're a 2-4 projector. What does that mean?
yeah. Have you ever heard of human design?
Oh, yes,
No.
I have.
Okay. Okay, so human design is like this system of understanding like human mechanics, kind of like astrology. It is actually like astrology mixed with a lot of other things. It's like the system that this man channeled years and years ago. I mean, not like super old, but you know, we'll get there. And there's all these different types, like there's projectors, there's generators, manifesting generators, manifestors.
Wait, I have
I feel
heard.
like there's one
Yeah.
more that I'm
Meaning,
missing.
like, there's different
Yes.
categories for the type of people that exist?
Yes. Well, that's what I
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So there's that. And so I'm a projector. Projectors are, they are like what you call a non-energy type, meaning we tend to be slower, lower energy. Some of us have a little bit more depending on what centers on your chart are like activated. And projectors tend to do well when we don't invite ourselves to things, but when we are invited, because when we invite ourselves, our energy can be like a little bit intense for people and situations. But when we're invited, we're much more appreciated and people are much more receptive to that energy.
I like that.
So,
Yeah.
so what would you I mean, do you think you know enough about Natalie and myself to figure out what we would be?
I don't, however, you could look it up. If you know your birthplace and your birth time, which is what you need to look up your astrology information, you can actually look up your human design. I know Natalie is a projector because we looked at hers together. So her energy is like mine. I don't think she's a 2-4.
Yeah, but it's definitely
but
the projector
she's a
type.
projector. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what's the website?
Um, I don't even know. I think I just Googled like human design chart one day. I had heard about it and I was like, what's that?
Human design
But you
chart.
could find one.
Okay, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find it. Okay, so that's
Yes.
what
And
that
tell me
is. So
what you
you're
are.
you're so you're
Yes.
a, what you call it, a 2x4?
A 2-4 projector.
Okay.
So 2-4s are hermits, opportunists. So hermit meaning like we really tend to enjoy our own space, our own zone, our own area. And the 4 is like this social energy where we kind of tend to require people to pull us out of our own zones and like include us in what they're doing in order for us to network. So it's about networking, like remaining to yourself, mastering your craft, understanding, whatever you want to present to the world, playing with it, like really getting to know it very deeply, and
Interesting.
then presenting it to the world when you are pulled out of your shell to do so.
Oh
So
shit,
it's
that
all
was a
about
lot.
timing, huh?
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I'm over
But
here.
that's just me.
I'm ready to pull mine. I can't remember. I remember we pulled it a long time ago, and I can't remember
Yeah.
now anything else other than the projector. But the numbers are equally important.
The numbers are equally important. And honestly, there's so much. Human design is not something that you can really learn in a day or like in a session, although you can kind of start to play with it and get comfortable with it. But it really does take a long time. Even like, for instance, for projectors, there's what you call like a deconditioning stage because we live in a society that's like, go, go, hustle, hustle, move, move, like
Yeah.
very quick and fast. And projectors are very much like don't have the stamina to keep up with that energy. So you go through
Mm.
what's called deconditioning, where you literally like unlearn that and you start to tune more into your natural rhythms,
Mm.
which moving to Georgia has helped me to be able to do. So it's actually been really nice.
So interesting that you mentioned natural rhythms. How do you uncover what your natural rhythm is? That's actually a really good point.
Mm.
Okay, so I love talking about this. Your natural rhythm, also, some people call it like your home frequency, is like how you are when you are not considering the influence of outside influence, whether it's like people or situations. When it's just you, when you're by yourself, when you're really like tuned into yourself and you're like taking a bath or you're doing something that feels good, like watching a movie, or you're just sitting in the quiet and enjoying your own time,
Mm.
whatever that looks like for you. So some people it's like extreme sports, like we're gonna, and that's like their rhythm is really fast and they like to be on the move, but that's what they do like with themselves and on their own. That's their peaceful place. For
Ah.
me, I'm like, give me a day to do a bunch of nothing and I'm probably just gonna sit there and like look at cards and journal and like sleep or just be in like a rested state, which is what my body, mind, and spirit prefers.
Mm.
Unless I'm hiking, in which case I'm hiking.
Interesting.
And if you
Yeah,
didn't do any of those things, what
Any of what those things?
any of
it's
like the whatever you like Jasper saying, your piece is hiking or doing extreme sports. What if you weren't to do those things, but they are true to you and they are your natural state?
if I mean if they're true to you and you don't do them to
Mm-hmm.
from in my own experience and in the
Mm-hmm.
experience of like my clients,
Mm-hmm.
it really can bring up like a state of, I mean, discontent at the least, but really like it can make you feel uncomfortable in your own skin because the world already lives in a state where it does not honor the individual. Like it doesn't honor the human in you. It
Mm.
doesn't, the world doesn't care about like the person. The world is about productivity. Are you making me money? Are you, insert thing here? And when you don't honor that in yourself, it can really cause like a lot of depression, a lot of like your energy to just feel blocked. It's like those moments where you want to do things, but you just can't get yourself to do anything because your energy is drained because you're not pouring into yourself the way that your soul needs.
Mm.
This is so much information.
And we're only three
Yeah.
minutes in,
No, and
right?
it's good though because
Yeah.
it's I think we're kind of all going through that journey or that time right now where it's like, damn, like what could I do to
Hmm.
get better at it? Like I'm trying to when you were mentioning what the natural rhythm is, right?
Yeah.
Or what our that's
Hmm.
what it was, right? Our natural rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
I think about
Yeah.
there's several different speeds or rhythms that I can be great in. Like there's a few different rhythms that I feel comfortable in. But now my question is, which one really is it? Because it goes back to, how do I remove those exterior influences? How do I know that this is really my natural rhythm and it's just not my reaction based on what the exterior, if I'm getting great reactions from people, right? For whatever rhythm I'm in or whatever I'm doing. And I can see that people like it, but is that me just liking it because other people like it? And I'm a people pleaser and this rhythm feels right? Or is it me really? Yes, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see the potential conflict with this, which is where it goes back to, like, how do you cleanse yourself to get to the point where you're honoring yourself and you're removing any and all possible outside influences?
Yeah, like you're your own.
That's the goal.
I really love that. Yeah, I love that question. For me and with the people that I work with my clients, it comes down to really tuning in to every present now. Like, how does my body feel right now? Like, for instance, um, people want to come over to my house and it's like everybody wants to have a party, but I just got through, like for instance, we'll use you. Like, let's say you just finished with your DJs and you guys were at a Dodgers game and you're tired, but everybody wants to go and they want to party it up. Like, oh, we're not ready to go home, we want to do this, we want to do that, or we want to go out to eat, or we want to do something, right? But like, in that moment, I think it's become really important for me and for a lot of people. I think this would be really helpful if you close your eyes and really like tune into yourself, like breathe a deep breath and really just like sit and like, if you sit for a second, you can hear your body, you can hear yourself giving the right answer. Will you follow it is different. Your spirit will give you the right answer, but will your ego allow yourself to follow it? Because your ego is like all about your comfort and it's your protector, it's like your guardian, but it's like that overprotective kind of parent that's like, this is what's familiar to me, so I'm not going to let you change it because this is what I know. But is it what's right for you? And it takes a lot of courage to really listen to your own frequency and to honor it. And yeah, it takes a lot of courage, to be honest.
Do you remember, Jasper, the first time that you heard your voice or your spirit or that frequency?
Yeah, the first time I heard it like audibly, like really actually listened, I remember it was when I had my own apartment. I was living in California and I had had a breakup like a few months before and I was not wanting to process it. And so I was going out every weekend and blah, blah. And then one weekend I didn't plan anything and I had to sit with myself. And I was taking this class. I had just started this class on public speaking. Oh no, it was right before that actually. I found the speaker who actually I wound up taking her class, and she had like this mirror activity that she did with herself that she shared like in this YouTube video. Her name is Lisa Nichols. I recommend you look her up. She's so dope. But she has like, I was just like sad, and I remember like hearing this voice like, I'm so sad, why won't you listen to me, like just kind of like feeling this deep sadness. And so I was journaling, but I was journaling like as my inner child, like I was letting the words just come out as they were, and it was like this very childlike voice, and she was just like, why don't you listen to me, I'm so sad, why doesn't so and so love me, why is my love not good enough, like really going through my narrative of what I believed about myself, like what I believed to be true about myself. And so that was the moment. But the mirror exercise was really good in healing that, like coming into contact with that on a daily basis and healing through that, which was really dope.
Interesting.
Have you heard your voice, Natalie?
Yeah.
Well, as she was saying that, I was thinking, when did I have something similar happen to me? And it had to have been when I was going to community college, and I have a similar story to Jasper where I don't know, I must have been going through a breakup, but at this point that's kind of blurry now because, and I know why that was blurry. Because I was going out every day of the week during school.
You guys were just in denial, like, fuck this, we're done,
Right.
let's just go.
Yes, exactly that.
Yes, and it was probably the lowest of the low that I have been up to this point in my life where my partying got so out of control that I would wake up and I didn't know what had happened the whole night. I would wake up in my room and I'm like, how did I even get home?
Damn, Natalie.
I was failing all of my classes.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
No, I can't, Jasper. That's why I'm like, damn, Natalie, I can't.
I'm like,
even if
who
I
is
try.
that girl?
Yeah, no, honestly, I look back and I think like, I don't even recognize that person at all. Complete opposite ends of the spectrum.
But it happens.
It does, and it needs to happen because this is where the growth happens, and this is where you end up hearing your true authentic self forcefully, hopefully.
Okay.
And so for me, that was I don't know if it was at one point that I was failing my class and I woke up from whatever I was going through, or that I woke up realizing like I didn't know how I got home, that I thought, shit, like I can't be doing this. And
so your voice inside was telling you, you can't be doing this.
Yeah, what are you doing was what I was telling myself.
So you had a questioning voice.
Yeah. It wasn't like me. I don't know if I had to go through all of that to say, all right, you know what? You need to get your shit together. Life is happening for you. And I think that's when I started realizing, like, I was realizing that I had an awareness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
My awareness kicked in. I was able to see my ego and that wasn't working for me.
Okay.
So, so yeah, I don't know where I was trying to go with that, but
so you basically,
girl, you told a story.
But where Jasper's voice was like her inner child saying like, hey, and it was a sad, sympathetic voice. Yours was more of a scolding type. Get your shit together.
Yeah. What are you doing? I had to give myself a lecture. And I think since that I've never been the same. Thank God.
Okay.
Whew. What about you, girl?
Whose voice does your inner voice take after, though? Like, real quick. Like, does your inner voice take after somebody? Because you were being stern with yourself. So I'm wondering, like...
You know...
that's a good question.
It's interesting because during that time period, I was very independent and I didn't have, like, my mom or my dad telling me that I should or shouldn't be doing things. So maybe it was... myself thinking of the maybe the disappointment that my parents would have if they even found out, you know, what I was doing after hours. You know what I mean?
So it was your parents' voice.
It was my parents. Yeah, I think so. I think it was them not necessarily lecturing me right then and there at the moment, but the possibility that they could if they knew. You know?
Right.
So it's my parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Jasper, who's your voice based off of?
My voice was me. It was definitely me as a child. Definitely like all of my inner wounding and like it was definitely very that.
Got it.
How about you, Ricky?
The first time I heard my voice, I was on mushrooms.
That's right.
And it was the first time
okay. Can we talk about... Okay, sorry. I love mushrooms.
Let's talk about it.
It's been a minute since I've done them, but it was definitely, it was like 4 New Years ago. 4 years
that long now?
It was 4 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
I can't imagine going that long, to be honest.
No. I've done it since.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like two or three times after, but definitely the first time was when I was high as a kite. And I was yelling at myself. It was definitely my voice. It was not me under the... It wasn't like my parents' voice or anybody else. It was me, like tired ass me saying like, bitch, I'm here. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, and it felt like for the first time I heard my voice.
Yeah.
Like all of these years of hearing everybody else's voice or not honoring my own voice, I was mad at myself. And Jasper, I think, to point out, it's all of me, right? So the young me, the adolescent me, the young adult, the mother me, it's all of those versions of myself combined were yelling at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm here. Listen to yourself. That was the first time that I heard my voice. And then after that, I remember being so afraid that I was not going to hear myself again. I wrote throughout the entire process. I wrote. And then days following that, I kept journaling and I just kept wanting to remind myself, because I had this fear that I was gonna lose being able to hear my voice.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
hadn't. I hadn't.
Could
I
we all
haven't.
agree
No.
that those experiences changed us to a point that we didn't look back?
The mushrooms?
Yes.
Well, yeah. Well,
Oh,
the
mushrooms.
mushrooms. For
Well,
you,
yeah.
the mushrooms,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
And
but
then
hearing
for
your voice.
Jasper, yeah, hearing your voice,
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
right?
That's what started my journey of like getting into intuitive healing. Because I just was going through life very directionless, not really even looking for direction, but like very content with where I was.
Mm.
And then I just kept hearing, you're a healer, you're a healer. Like you need to be like, you're a healer. You need to lean into this. And I was like, this is weird. This is just like, I don't even know what I thought it was.
Uh-huh.
And hearing that voice and then like continuously coming into the path of that information, whether it was through like channeled messages or just random, I don't even call them random, just like synchronicities in my world that really started to happen around that time and really started to speed up and haven't slowed down since that time.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So yes, definitely changed my life.
And I'm glad that you bring that up because Jasper and I were talking a few months ago, and we were talking about that we just wanted to be the most authentic version of ourselves that we could be, and
Mm,
there was even something, Jasper, that I don't know if you remember, that we talked um, about being feminine and stepping into our femininity and trying
yeah.
to stop being both dominantly masculine and feminine, and just be a damsel in distress and have someone pick up our
Yes.
Be a
groceries.
damsel in distress?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Help me.
Yes, help me. I'm weak. I'm fainting.
I don't have any. I can't do any of it. Yes, no, that's very real.
That's
That is
interesting.
very, very real.
And
Yeah.
so, from that conversation that Jasper and I had about being feminine and so on, suddenly that has been just a reoccurring theme for the last 2 months.
Mm.
So when that happened, all of a sudden Ricky gets told by Ray that she thinks like a man, and then in
Right.
another episode we start talking about how more dominantly masculine Ricky is and how more dominantly feminine I am. And then Anita comes onto this podcast and she talks about how she's just discovered her femininity at her age.
Yeah.
Older, yeah.
So I feel like that's just been just really in all of our faces,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
does that look like for you currently, Jasper?
Wait, what does what
For
look
me
like for her
currently?
currently? Her femininity?
Her feminine,
Oh, okay.
well, her feminine and masculine energies. What is that looking like for you right now?
Okay, so
That's a great question.
maybe I'll like tell the whole story. First of all, I was listening to that last episode. I didn't get that far yet, but I just say like like saw the inception of this podcast, and
Yes, you
I was
did.
telling Natalie that I wasn't listening to podcasts for a long time. After mine stopped, I was kind of like, RIP to podcasts. And I was really like mourning that for a
Aw,
while. And so I
yeah.
wasn't listening to podcasts, but I picked them up recently and I was listening to your most recent episode because I was like, I'm going to start forward and go backwards. I love, and I cannot wait to go back and hear the progression of everything. Like, because
Aw.
I love it. I mean, I loved it before, but I love it now. But anyways,
Thank
I
you.
had to like, yes, I love it very much. I'm glad you both are finding your rhythm.
We are.
As far as you really are. It's like it shows, and I'm really proud of you both.
Thank you. Air hugs.
Yes, I love you.
Oh.
As far as like feminine energy for me, like touching what that is and like, coming to understand what that is. Um, it's it started with me like really just being tired. In my previous relationship, I was the one who like held down the household, and I was going out and going to work and making sure that like things were clean and that shopping was done and bills were paid. Like I was doing everything and then like still expected to like want to have sex and like want to like I don't even know, like just all these weird expectations that were put onto me and that I put onto myself. And I didn't have the energy for any of it. And so after moving What? You got a question? Were
No,
you
it
gonna say
makes sense.
something?
I was just tired listening to you do all that, but that's the kind of that's
Girl.
the lives that
Okay.
that's the lives that we live. I came home Sunday and I was looking at the laundry like I can't do you right now. Like I
No.
cannot do laundry.
No.
It's exhausting. You're right.
No. Yes, it is exhausting. And then to have somebody pulling on your energy and like expecting a level of like, like perceived femininity in you. Like,
Mm,
I don't have time to be emotional. I don't have the space to like touch my emotions or to feel my body or to move it or like anything. I didn't have the space for any of that. And so leaving California and then coming here and just having to start all over again, having nothing. I lost everything in my move minus my dog and like
mm,
2 bags of clothes. Like I had nothing. And so it really was a starting over again. And it gave me time to really sit with myself and figure out like, what does my energy feel like? And ever since I was a kid, I've always been a very sensitive child. I've always been a very playful, person. I've always been a lover, like very affectionate and very much like I've always wanted to be helped. And
mm,
I've always wanted to be a help, but not in the way of like the physical. Like I've always been dependent on because, like that, I think that strong black woman trope, like,
mm.
I mean, like really applied to me because I have such a strong personality and I have like
Right.
a lot of resilience. And
Mm.
so people depended on me to be very strong physically and mentally
All
and
the
all these
time.
other things. Yes, literally all the time.
No
And
breaks.
so no, no breaks at all since childhood. And then also being told, like, you're a crybaby, you're this, you're that. So being alone really helped me to figure out, like, who am I really? And like, it helped me to lean into like feeling emotions and understanding what I want to experience myself as a woman. I want to experience like nurturing, meaning I want to give that. I also want to receive that. I
Mm,
want to give like from the overflow of my love and my adoration for my life to the world and to a person. And I want to like dance and I want to step outside and I want to hear the birds and I want to appreciate them and I want to feel the wind on my skin and I want to breathe it in. I want to hear the trees singing because the trees sing when the wind kisses like
Jasper,
the
you're gonna
leaves. You
put
know
me
what I
to
mean? Like
sleep right now. This is so relaxing. I'm just like imagining
it
the
is a
birds and the
peaceful.
wind, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yes.
Take a nap now.
No, this is my life
I
every
love this.
day. This is my life every day
Oh,
now.
I
Like I
love
really
that.
stop and I make time for what's important to me. What is important to me is like hearing the birds in the morning. It's
Yes, I
important
love
for
the
me
birds
to
in the
like
morning. That's big for me.
yes. Yes, to put my feet in the grass and in the dirt and like to talk to tree. I have a tree that I talk to. Like I
Oh,
go, I talk to the tree and I talk to my spirits at that tree and to like have my altar and to pour into it and to like lavish my body with like oils and lotions that feel good and my space smells good and feels good. There's softness everywhere. There's my favorite color. There's flowers. There's like room for me to just like spread. I hope this makes sense.
your entire your everything you just said in its entirety felt like a vacation. Like
Yes.
I felt like I just took a quick
Yes.
vacation listening to everything that
Yes.
you just said. So
I love
basically,
that.
you have to lose your shit, lose everything, just completely start from scratch to really get a good perspective of who you are, where you're trying to go, and be in touch with. I don't disagree with any of that.
No, you don't have to. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to lose everything. Like, I didn't have to lose everything.
Sometimes I
I
feel like
think
that's where you get
losing
the best results, though.
Mm.
Because you're right, you don't
really,
have to
truly,
lose
yes.
everything, but
No, you don't. You don't. I think that leaving my old life behind was the first courageous act of embracing my energy. Like this is not working for me anymore, like the relationships that I was in. This is not working for me anymore. This is not how my energy wants to function. So this is like I can't this we're not doing this anymore. That was actually the first thing. Everything else was just like the results of me choosing myself, and it got
mm,
dark. Like it looked like it got dark, but it didn't. It was such a that story of just losing everything on my journey here was such a miraculous story, really. But those were just the byproduct of me choosing myself. And you will lose
mm,
things in that journey. You'll lose people, you'll lose situations. things will become lost that don't respect who you truly are.
Ooh,
If
that gave
they
me the
Jesus
cannot
chills.
honor
Christ,
your true
Jasper.
self.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait, hold on.
yeah,
Because so I follow Rick Rubin. He's a music producer. I just posted it like maybe like an hour ago, and it said something like, even
mm,
a loss is a choice, right?
Yeah.
yes.
And I was thinking about Hosea. Do you remember
Mm.
Hosea, Jasper?
I love Jose.
I miss
Oh,
Hosea.
that
So
smile.
yes,
I know. Oh,
he was Rose City Sound's first official intern.
Yeah.
Bless. I
yes,
love him so much, and I miss him so much. So
yes,
I remember he was going through, and I'm just talking about breakups and heartbreaks because you're talking about yours, and
yeah.
he went through a heartbreak here with us, and I remember telling him, Hosea, like, be excited about it. Like, he
Yeah.
did you a favor. Like,
Mm,
why would you be all sad? Like, oh, look at I don't have this person anymore. Fuck that. Pick up the phone, tell him, you know what? Thank you
Right. It was
for
fun.
getting out of the way
mm,
for the right person to come along.
Yeah.
Wish you would have done it
yes,
sooner,
Yeah.
person.
yes,
So, but I
yes,
was thinking about that because I surely don't remind myself of that or take that own advice, right? Of how things,
yeah,
even when they feel terrible, they are heartbreaking. Like, there's a silver lining to it. You just
Right.
have to
yeah,
accept. And if only we looked at loss the way that we look at procurement, right? So when we get something, when we
yes,
buy something, when we win something, it's like, oh,
Excited.
you're excited, you get all these endorphins going, it's pop, 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 pop. You should feel the
mm,
same way about loss because
Yeah.
even though initially
yes,
it might hurt, there's something coming for you or better or whatever the case. It's just
yes,
you're letting go of something that was not serving you any longer and paving the path for what should be.
Yeah. In the thick of it, we don't
absolutely.
realize
But again,
the
easier said than
blessing.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
And your capacity to feel sorrow, like if you've been to the depths of your sorrow, ooh, when you get high, like you really can feel like the beauty and the magnitude of the height that you are at.
Yes.
Like you expand yourself when you feel like those negative emotions. When I'm feeling really down, I don't stay in it forever, but I really let myself experience it. Like I will say the worst things and allow myself to imagine the worst things. And then I'm like, that's not really who you are, girl, though. So,
okay.
Which is also something that's very important when people say like you have to let yourself feel the feelings when you're going through it. I had no idea
mhm,
what the hell that meant
Yeah.
until I
mm,
realized that when I would feel uncomfort or sadness or I was angry about something, I would deny it. I would ignore
Mm.
it or I would try to cover it up
yeah,
with something else.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really letting myself feel all of those terrible emotions because why would you? Why would
Yeah.
I want to make
mm,
myself actually hurt more?
Right.
Which
I don't want to be in pain.
yeah,
mm.
I don't want to be in pain,
But then
but
you prolong it.
it's a
Yes. And
slow
it's
death.
worse.
It's a slow
Yeah.
fucking
She said
death.
it's a slow.
It was
Yeah.
a
Well,
slow
how,
death.
Ricky, how were you like ignoring, like, what were you doing
Like to
to
mask
ignore
it.
yourself?
Denial
Yeah.
is a great place. Or I would
Yeah,
like
but like, what were you doing though?
when I wasn't trying
Like,
to
were you
feel those things.
eating? Were you
Oh
like
hell yeah! I was a
sleeping? Like, what
no
were you doing?
eating, sleeping, drinking, and keeping
Mm-hmm.
myself 1,000% preoccupied, overworking myself.
Mm,
Uh, It was literally all of those things: drinking, eating,
yeah.
sleeping, working myself to the ground. It was all of those things
Mm,
collectively,
You know,
all of
so you
it.
didn't have to think.
mm,
Yeah, I can't do this because I'm busy. I gotta go and do this, and I gotta. But
yeah.
but there does come a time where that doesn't work anymore, and it 100%. You can see it in your face. You project it in your energy.
Yeah.
There's just no way
Mm,
around it, and that's when my meltdown started happening at the end of last season. It was
Yeah.
I look at pictures of
mm.
myself
And
back
you
then,
even look
and I
like,
was like, wow, I look like a garbage pail.
oh
Oh
no.
Yeah.
no.
But of
You
course,
look like what you've been through, but
exactly,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like a train ran me over and I'm still wobbling around like a zombie. But
Okay, listen.
but that's why you got to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes and be like, wait a minute.
Yes.
And listen to the people around you who are telling you like, yo, you look like shit. Like what is going on?
Because those
Right.
ones really like
They see you.
sometimes they're mean people, but a lot of times they're the ones who really love you and they're like, yo,
Yeah.
I need you to
Mm,
see yourself because I know you when you're up and you're not up right now.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And I've had like recently too, I've had multiple people, a lot of really dear friends of mine who have known me a life forever. And they've told me, look, your spark is gone. What happened?
Oh,
When I heard that multiple times from people, that shit made me cry. That's when I was like, oh, wow. What
Yeah.
did happen to me?
Yeah.
So I had to really kind of
mm,
calibrate.
And
yes,
you're in a much better
yes.
place now, I think.
I'm getting there.
Your energy feels better, to be honest. Like from the last time that I spoke to you to now,
Oh, it was
your
bad.
energy feels lighter.
The last time Jasper and I spoke, which I miss you, Jasper. Like we haven't spoken in a
I miss
minute.
you.
Like it's been
Yeah.
a minute, and I think you and I both were. You were starting the beginning of your separation, and that was the kind of the prerequisite to the beginning of mine.
Yeah.
It was pretty. It was
Yeah.
pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But Jasper's also been someone who's seen my spark, like who's
Yeah.
seen me 1,000%,
Yes.
like great
And I love your
energy.
spark. Oof.
She's known that.
I think Jasper has really helped the both of us in our journey.
Hell yeah.
I love Jasper.
Oh,
Yeah, Jasper,
I love
truly,
you.
I
Oh, that
think
feels
that
so nice to hear.
you have helped us so much, whether you know it or not. You've been such a like life changer.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
Oh, wow.
so
It is an honor to witness you and to see you through and just to give you an ear and give you some love or give
yeah,
you some guidance or just
yeah,
like that little bit of hardness that is needed in order to be like, look, let me shake you.
yeah. We need that.
You do need
we need that
that
Yeah.
person.
shake. You need to shake it off,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
like Taylor Swift says.
Yes.
Jasper, do you still do the tapping?
I do. I do still tap.
Can you
I
explain what the tapping
really
is?
Yes. Okay. So, for anybody who doesn't know, EFT tapping is like this somatic therapy where you touch different points of your body. I'll try to explain them. So you touch like the top of your head, like the crown, like if you're
We're gonna
patting
do
your
it.
crown
We're gonna
as
do it
you're
while you're
saying
saying it.
Okay. Okay. I hope you remember where. And then so you go for, and you don't have to do two hands. You can do one
it.
hand,
Okay.
whatever you want. So you do the top of your head, and then you tap like the front of your eyebrow, like in between. You know what I'm talking about? Like at the front of your
Oh, we're
eyebrow, like the
trying. We're
thick
doing
part.
it.
Okay. Then you go to like the bone right at the outer corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And then you tap between your nose and your upper lip, that little cupid's bow kind of area. And then you do between your bottom lip and your chin, that soft spot right
Why are
there.
you banging on your chin? That so is it? I'm
I
tapping
want
with
it
like
to
the
work.
top of my
No,
finger,
so
and
you
now
literally,
he's got the
one
whole.
second, you
I want this
literally
to
like
work
use
now.
your fingertips. Like you can use your fingertips. And you don't have to do it hard. Honestly, like if you do it hard, you're probably gonna get sore. And then at your collarbone. So
Get
where your
myself
I
collarbone
love
bruised.
the
is, where
collarbone.
they
That's my
meet in the
favorite.
center. Yes, where they meet in the center, you're going to go down an inch and then you're going to go over like an inch. And that's where you want to tap when you do the collarbone. And then for the ladies, you're going to go to your bra line, like where your bra under your arm, where like your
Oh
bra
yeah, the side right
is.
here. Yes.
Mhm. And then you do, they call it the karate chop point, but it's like the meaty part of the side of your hand that's along where your pinky is.
Right
So
here.
the meaty part where your palm is, but on the side.
And as
And those
you're
are going to be
doing
the
this,
points.
and as you're doing these points, you're actually saying things, correct?
Yes. So as you're tapping through each point, you want to tap on it for like at least 8 seconds. And you don't have to tap hard. I promise you, it's not going to work better if you tap hard.
I wanted it to.
um,
I'm
Make
doing
it
but you
myself
say,
work.
bruises.
like, let's say, for instance, I am feeling like I'm very much in my masculine and I'm like too much action, too much energy, too much whatever. So start at the top of my head and I'll say, like, I feel so drained.
I do.
And then we move to the front of the eyebrow. I'm doing so much work. And then we move to the outer corner of the eye. And you say, I'm just so tired all the time. And then you say, I think I missed a point. I think you go under your eye too. So under your eye, and you say, I cannot believe that I have gotten myself this worked up.
I cannot believe I have
And then
gotten
you go
myself this worked up.
and you go under your nose and you're like, I don't know how long I can keep going.
I really don't know how long I could keep going.
Yes.
how
And then
long I
you
can
go
keep
under your bottom lip and you say, this pace is exhausting.
This
This
pace is exhausting.
Then you move to your collar and you say, it is draining every bit of my life force.
It is
It's draining every bit of my life force.
And then you go to your your bra area and you say, God, I'm so damn tired.
God, I'm so damn tired. Fuck.
And you hit on your karate chop point and you're just like, I'm about ready to quit.
Fuck
I'm
that.
about
I'm ready to quit.
So now I'm going to keep going, and we're going to, every sentence, it's going to be a new point. So just keep going with me.
Okay.
I don't know how much longer I want to keep doing this.
I don't know how much longer I want to keep doing this.
There's so much in my life that demands so much of me.
There's so much in my life that demands so much of me.
I just want to quit.
I just want to quit.
I just want to let it all go.
I just want to let it all go.
I don't know if I can make it through even one more day.
I don't know if I could even make it through one more day.
I'm done.
I'm done.
And even though this is my truth,
And even though this is my truth,
This is my truth.
and even though I'm tired and exhausted,
even though I'm tired and I'm exhausted,
I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself.
I deeply love and completely love myself.
and completely forgive myself.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm sorry. I forgive myself. I'm sorry.
It's
Ricky.
okay. You're doing good. You're doing good. Now we should be at the top of the head. And I offer myself a new way to live.
And
I offer myself a new way to live.
Maybe I can do everything that I want to do.
Maybe I can do everything that I want to do.
And everything that I need to do.
And everything that I need to do.
But do it in a different way.
But do it in a different way.
Maybe I can let myself take 5 more minutes with every activity.
Maybe I can take 5 more minutes with every activity.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can drop some things from my schedule today.
Maybe I can drop some things from my schedule today. Or people.
Because they're still going to be there.
Because
they're still going to be there.
And if they need me, they're still going to need me.
And if they need me, they're still going to need me.
There will always be work for me.
There will always be work for me.
And there'll always be things to do.
And there will always be things to do.
But the first thing that I should do.
But the first thing that I should do.
And the first thing that I want to do every day.
And the first thing that I want to do every day.
Is honor myself.
Is honor myself.
I want to eat foods that nourish my body.
Oh my God, yes.
I want to eat foods that nourish my body.
And drink liquids that water my soul.
And drink liquids that water my soul.
I want to take time to speak with myself with love.
I want to take time to speak with myself with love.
I want to enjoy the life that I've been working to build.
I want to enjoy the life I've been working to build.
And give my time to the ones who love me and appreciate me.
And give my time to the ones that love and appreciate me.
And give my time to the ones that love and appreciate me.
So even though there's all of these tasks that are calling my name.
So even though there's all of these tasks calling my name.
Yes.
I get to choose which ones I do.
I get to choose which ones I do.
At every given moment.
At every given moment.
My life is my choice.
My life is my choice.
My energy is my currency.
My energy is my currency.
And I spend my money.
And I spend my money
on the things that matter most to me.
On the things that matter most to me.
Which is love.
Which is love.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So hopefully if we were following each other, you ended on your karate chop point. But if not, you end on the top all the way through.
Yes, we did, Jasper.
You did it.
Oh, I was nervous about that. I was
so
like,
you want to... No, that's okay. That's okay. We got this. We are on the same wavelength. We got this. But that's how you tap. You start by just saying the worst, and you want to say how you really feel. you like, if you feel tired, if you feel angry, if you feel this or feel like, you want to like really get yourself like, you want to kind of be worked up because you want to like really purge the energy.
Mm,
So you want to get yourself there. And then you say, even though this is my truth, or even though this is my life, or whatever, I deeply and completely love and accept and forgive myself.
yeah.
And then you can start to actually tap on new things that you want to implement in your life. How do you feel that you've done that?
How do I feel that I have changed?
That you've just tapped?
I just
Oh, after? Oh, I feel great.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yay.
I feel like
Okay.
those were all the affirmations because sorry, Ricky, but
no.
I feel for myself that I'm in this constant state of trying like I think I have issues with seeking validation, right? And then even I even
Mm-hmm.
start to question it myself of like, well, are you allowed to take a break? Are you allowed to spend the money on things that you love? Yes, I am, damn it.
Girl, yes.
Yes, I am. So that was really reaffirming for me. I feel good.
Yay. Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. How about you, Ricky?
I just felt quiet,
Yeah.
just peaceful, just
Mm-hmm.
a release in energy, I guess.
Mm.
Like just
Did
and
you feel loud before?
yeah, like right now when you asked us and we had that long pause.
Mm-hmm.
So before I would have immediately jumped on saying something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh shit, we got to
Mm.
fill in the gap. We got to fill it. Someone has to say something.
Yeah.
And I felt no pressure to say anything.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that there was silence. I
Mm.
didn't mind that I wasn't saying anything. I was good with that.
Yeah.
And that's cool
Good.
because
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the pressure, right? There's no
mhm.
pressure to try
Yeah.
to do anything or say anything, even though
No.
you would feel that way in a podcast. But
But
if you're with us,
yeah, that was actually a really and Jasper. So we're live on Twitch right now, and so we have one of our viewers, Cynthia, who says that your voice is very calming, and it is, and it 100%
Oh,
is.
thank you.
And the tapping thing, I think happened. You were going live on Instagram, and I remember just joining one day and I saw what she was doing. I said,
Mm.
I'm just gonna jump on this
mm-hmm.
and see what happens. And I absolutely loved how I felt afterwards. I also then thought, how does Jasper know what I'm feeling? Like I thought, is she going through the same thing that I'm going through? Because
Yes.
it's like, but and then you want to think, man, it's just a universal thing. Like all women feel like this, like all the time, tired and just
Mm.
like I don't know. But I do want to go back and thank you for doing that exercise. It was
Yes,
kind of
thank you.
unplanned,
Thank you.
but very
Yeah.
representative. And do you still jump on Instagram to do these tapping exercises?
I haven't in a very long time. I've just been really in efforts to tune into my own energy, like just really going very slow, figuring out my energy, my rhythm here where I live now. But I will be starting to do that again. I'm trying to figure out what day would work best for me. Um, and then if people jump on, they do, and if they don't, they don't. But I really would like to
Yes.
start doing that again because it was really nourishing.
Oh, I loved
It
it.
was very,
Yeah.
very nourishing. So yes, I will be soon. So follow me if you want to do that, like live together.
Yes.
And I actually would like to have people jump on like video
Oh,
and we
yes.
go with like a person and like what are you going through, because that's what I would do in a session. So
Oh,
what I really
yeah.
would like to do is have like what would be a typical session with myself but on live.
Mm.
Just share the medicine with the people because I feel like we need it. And yeah.
It's a great gift to give to people.
Yeah.
But if we could go back to talking about the femininity thing, because I would really, if you have any tips, tricks, pointers on how to access your femininity, I'm here for it because
Yes.
Be in tune with that.
I'm trying to be in tune with that.
Well, I would say that number one, your femininity is your femininity. So you get to figure out what that looks like for you.
Mm.
Some of the basic things associated with femininity are nurturance
Mm.
and nutrients and a sense of like freedom, of like floatiness, of um, I just want to move my body, but you can't see me. You know what? I have an idea. How about we do something right now? This is something that I learned from somebody and I wish I could remember. Her name is Sheila Kelly.
Okay.
And she does this thing called S Factor, which one day I might do, but it's really dope. So she has you sit there and then you just like rotate your hips and you just like move your hips because a lot of
I'm
women
all
we
sore.
store trauma in our hips,
I've read
but
about
like
that.
that's
Yes.
where we yes but that's where like
I'm
we
moving.
birth things. That's like our creative energy. That is where our life force energy is. So just sit and rotate your hips.
I
Your
feel like I need
chest
to
should
like.
be moving in a circle and your hips should be moving in a circle as well.
I'm too tense.
And you just want to like
I'm over here
dude,
just
you gotta
waving around.
you better loosen up. You better loosen up.
Look, maybe I'll
You
pull you
gotta
with me.
move. You remember SpongeBob when he was doing the sponge? Like, just do
I
the
feel.
sponge, girl.
Listen, I'm wearing
Just do
yellow
the
right now,
sponge.
and I love SpongeBob, so I'm
I'm
really
looking at
connecting
Hey,
with
SpongeBob
that.
tattoo.
synchronicity.
We're going like this right now. We're going
And
like this.
this, and then like put a little like sexy on it. Like if you were trying to impress a man, if you were trying to impress
I'm
like
about to
your
put my
man,
hair
like
up right now.
Is
that's what
that
I'm
your
saying.
inner
Like, how
sexy
would
with your
you want
hair up?
him to
So
see
I
you?
would have thought your
Like,
head down,
you
your
know?
hair down. Oh, there's Ray. Hey,
But
Ray.
like then take him out of it. But how do you want to see you? Like how do you feel sexiest? Like
Mm,
move your body in a way that makes you feel sexy for yourself.
I'm closing my
Sometimes it's
eyes.
easier for us to externalize it and then internalize it.
would so by externalizing it, you mean by like these physical movements?
Meaning like think about what makes you feel sexy for somebody else. That's externalizing it.
And then the
Then
internal?
what makes you feel sexy to yourself because they might be different things and then you'll start to see like where is your programming versus who you really are.
Mm.
I was really
But
high one day, and I remember I remember writing a note. Apparently when I'm high, I write a lot. Like,
Mm.
and
yeah.
I wrote a little note to myself, and I put, Ricky, your thoughts are sexy too.
Mm.
I was like,
Mm.
yeah, my
I,
Our
thoughts
mind
are
to be
sexy.
sexy.
I like
Yes.
that.
Let me ask you, Ricky, because I know like you run a mile a minute, but how would your life benefit if you slowed down and maybe like after tapping you took some breaths to before you answered a question? How would your life look if you just slowed down in between questions and in between activities and took a few breaths?
It would it would just be quieter in my own head. Like,
Hmm.
not even in my like actual the environment that I'm in or wherever I'm at, like you
Yeah.
said, like in between activities and all that stuff. I think if I stopped to breathe,
Mm.
all the voices that I have in my head would shut up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of activity that goes, like you say, like I run 1,000 miles a minute, right? Physically, you can
Mm.
you see that physically. You see my movement, buzzing back and forth here, there, everywhere. It's like 10 times worse in my own head. You don't even see that.
Mm.
You don't even
Mm.
see that. You see me moving, networking, talking, da 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 da. But all the while that I'm physically doing that, there's 10,000 other things going on in my head. None of it good.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So,
I feel that.
yes.
What would happen? Do you ever like look in the mirror? Okay, this is something that I have done. You take this with a grain of salt. You do it if it feels resonant, and if not, that's okay. But for me, I will like, if I'm having like thoughts in my head that are bad, I will sit in front of a mirror and I will look myself in the face and I will say those things and I will like really look at yourself because when I look at myself, I see my innocence and I'm like, do I really feel that about my innocent self? Like, do I
Mm.
really feel that way about myself? So maybe it might be good for you if you could like wake up in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening and say the things, like say them out loud. You maybe not say them to yourself, but say them out loud and really ask yourself, is that how I really feel though? Because
Mm.
a lot of times those voices in your head that are running on repeat, those narratives are not you. they're like people's voices that you've heard, they're echoes of sentiments that you've heard in the past, or
Mm.
like programming that you've taken in from seeing like this is how such and such should be or whatever. And a lot of times it's not you. So it might be a good practice to try to separate yourself from that voice by like giving voice to those thoughts and
Mm.
really asking yourself if you even believe that. That's a really good way to get in touch with your home frequency.
I think that's an excellent idea because
Yeah.
immediately just thinking about that, like if I was in front of a mirror and I was telling myself the things out loud,
Yeah.
the immediate thought that came into my head in picturing all of that was the original voice that I heard in my head when I took the mushrooms, like mad at myself, like what are you
Mm,
doing? So
Yeah.
it'd be
mm,
this defensiveness saying like this is bullshit. Like
Yeah.
so that's actually I
because
think
a lot of times it is bullshit.
it is it
Yeah.
all of it's bullshit. It
Yeah, I'm like,
100%
when is it
is
ever not
bullshit.
bullshit, actually? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that
100%.
that's a very necessary exercise because it kills denial and it kills ignorance and it kills not
Mm,
wanting to do anything. You're confronting it at that point. Like you said, you're giving those
yeah.
voices an actual voice, and then you realize how
Yes.
absurd and
Yeah.
ridiculous your thoughts are. Your ego
Like,
is
who
not your
is that really
amigo.
talking?
Yeah.
No, for me, a lot of times I noticed that the voice that was in my head for many, many years was not myself, but it was my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And she used to say like really mean things to me, and I would say them to myself. Like, she would call me like a fat bitch, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're just fat bitch." And then I really sat back one day and I was like, "Do you even believe that about yourself? Like,
Mm.
do you even care that you have like some jiggly jello on your body?" And there
She
was
said
a
jiggly
point where
jello.
like there was a lot, but for me now, I'm like, you cannot get me out of a mirror. Like, I'm like, damn, like I love
I
it.
love that.
And
Yeah.
contracting that voice and figuring out that that wasn't me helped me to then be like, what do you really think about yourself though?
Mm.
And I love the shit out of myself.
Jasper, do you think that, or in your experience with that example that you just gave us, does your sister's voice come back and tell
Mm.
you
No, not
those things?
anymore.
You killed it.
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so around that time where I started to really hear the voice of my inner child,
Mm-hmm.
because I intentionally like started talking to her,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a time where I went back. Okay, this is where it gets like woo woo, and people are like, "Girl, you're crazy." I went back to like a moment in my life that I remembered feeling a lot of pain when I was a kid, and I was going to run away. And that was around the time where I started talking to my imaginary friend. So, but I didn't realize this at the time. So I was sitting there in my bed, adult me, and I'm like accessing this part of me, and I'm like, I will be your best friend. I will be your friend. I will be your comfort. I will be your this. I will be your that. And I was like, girl, you were your own imaginary friend. And
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I would start to nurture that in myself because, legitimately speaking, like scientifically speaking, time is not linear. Every single moment that happened in your past is happening right now, as well as your future. Like all of it
That's
is
crazy.
happening simultaneously. Legitimately speaking, like this is science, like you can look it up.
I've heard of this.
And so
It's all
I
happening
went
at the
back
same
to
time.
the
Your past, present, and
yes,
your
it
future.
is all yes, it is all happening at the
It's
same
like
time. You're
quantum physics or
choosing
something, right?
yes, it is exactly that. And so I went back to that time and really like nurtured and nursed myself and really nourished myself. And instead of hearing that voice, now I hear other voices. I hear my voice. I hear the voice of some of my higher, like more ancient guides who really talk to me very sweetly. And now when I hear that negative voice, it is my programming and it is like myself and the limiting beliefs that I came to believe as a person like grow, but it's not another person's voice anymore. It's
It's your
me.
own.
And it's yes,
Mm.
and it's my own wounding. So now when I hear my wounded self, I actually will tune in and talk to my wounded self. Like a
Ah.
Oh, that's
few days
yes.
ago, a few weeks ago, yeah, like I was having this experience where I was like, why am I not lovable? Like why am I not like why can't I be loved? Like what
Mm.
is this thing that makes me not good enough? Blah, blah. And I really had to like sit with myself and ask myself, like, well, why aren't you lovable? Well, why aren't you loved? And what makes you that? And it really just helped me to tell myself to see like, no, you are very lovable and you are very loved, and there are going to be people who appreciate that and people who don't, and
Mm.
that is not a reflection of how lovable you are. It has nothing to do with how lovable you are.
Mm.
Yeah,
You just have to tell.
that was a long story.
You just have to
No,
talk to
but
yourself.
it's good though because I've never thought
Yes.
about talking to my wounded self,
Yeah.
and now I want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Because who else will?
Right. I think what I started kind of recently working on with my wounded self is just imagining myself hugging my wounded self. But now I'm going to talk to my wounded self.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to my wounded
Yes.
self.
Because our wounded
Yes.
self needs that validation and affirmation of, hey, girl, it's going to be
Yes.
okay. You're worth it. You're valuable. You're
Yes.
this, X, Y, and Z, whatever the wounded self is, right?
Yes. But really, when you talk to yourself, especially because Natalie, I know your inner voice tends to be kind of stern. You said, bring some gentleness.
Very.
Like, come at this part of you as you now, and like imagine you're talking to your daughter, and like how would you speak to her, and talk to her with all of the love that you would want your daughter to receive.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I would talk to my wounded self. Look at me questioning
Yeah.
this.
Yes.
Like, I see you, I hear you. Like, for me, when I'm doing that, I'm like holding myself and I'm like, I hear you, baby, and I love you. And you are just the most beautiful thing on the world in the world, and you love so big and so strong, and your love is so potent and pure, and your love is so bright. You're such a, like, I literally will talk to myself like this, and it is the most healing thing.
Jasper, do you still have access to people who have passed? And I only say that because in that moment, in that moment, everything that you just said right now is just so reminiscent of my Aunt Rosie. Like that's how my Aunt Rosie would talk to me. And I did I don't know what day last week it was, and when I went to go play at Mi Vidas.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys went out there. I actually wrote this little note to myself, a sticky note, because I was beating myself up, and I was like, you can't do this, and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just felt my Aunt Rosie's presence and her voice, and I wrote it on a sticky note, and she said, Ricky Limota, I love it, because she used to call me baby girl. She'd be like, I love it, baby girl, it's time.
Oh,
And I just kept hearing her voice like over and over, so I put it on my stupid laptop so I could remind myself like it's time, like this is it.
Yeah, this
but
is your moment.
exactly how you just spoke right now, that's how my Aunt Rosie would speak to me. That's why I was like, you still have access to my Aunt Rosie, Jasper?
So tender.
I mean, probably, you never know.
Yep.
I mean, I talk to spirits all the time. I'm constantly in prayer and constantly talking to the spirits around me and my loved ones. So I'm seeing somebody, and I was telling him today, I was like, or yesterday, I talk to your dad all the time.
Wow.
Like, I just talk to him.
And he's
I
like, you
just
have a
talk
better
to him.
relationship with him than I do.
Yeah.
It really, he did say that, but
Yeah.
really, it's because I actually go to these people. So for him, I want him to win and be successful. I want him to have everything that he ever dreams of, and I want the same for myself. What would I do for myself? I would pray for myself, and I would talk to my spirits, and I talk to my angels, and so I want the same for you. So I'm doing the same for you, like all the time, and I have made my life a prayer. Like, my life is constantly in prayer. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, the birds are so, the sunrise is so everything. Thank God I get to see the sunrise. Thank you to my spirits, I talk to my goddess, my patron goddess. I talk to goddess Isis, and I'm like, thank you for teaching me like how to nurture and how to love. Thank you for teaching me how to see the magic in the world. God, thank you for showing me the love of the masculine, like in my real life, and teaching me how to love that energy. Thank you for thank you to my angels for this and this and that. I thank his father for him all the time. Like, thank you very much for guiding him, for teaching him. Thank you that you love my spirits. Thank you that my spirits love your spirit. Like, thank you.
So
Thank you.
basically,
like,
I have to have a team meeting with with all of my people every day. Like, come on, let's get it together. This is what has to happen. I know that's basically what you described.
Do you start your day?
Yeah.
This is the way you start your day, with gratitude.
Yes, every morning when I wake,
all should.
I do things that make me feel grateful. Like, I wake up in the morning when I take my dog out to go to the bathroom. I like will walk barefoot in the grass and like really take in the sounds of the morning. Or if I'm going to the gym that morning, I'll walk slowly to my car. Or if it's raining, I'll go and like dance in the rain, or I'll hug a tree. Like literally any impulse that hits me at any moment, I will do. I sing. I just went to the mall last weekend and I was singing as I was walking through the mall,
Oh, I love
like
that.
dancing, singing, like having fun by myself, just chilling. And it's so magnetic too, by the way, when you tune into those things and you honor them, like your life will start to feel different and it'll start to feel better. Even if you don't have the more money or you don't have like insert circumstance here, your life will still feel better,
Insert circumstance here.
richer.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I danced in the rain the other day.
Yeah, it's been
Yes, as
raining
you
and I
should.
haven't. How
What
come
are
I
you talking
haven't done
about?
that? I need to do that.
Get
Girl,
out.
go get your ass in the rain.
It's
Yep.
gonna rain next week. I still have an opportunity. I'll
Schedule
report
it
back.
Yes.
as
Go
you
get
should.
kissed by the tears of like the clouds. Go get the
Mm.
love of the universe, the nurturing. The same thing that helps the flowers to bloom wants to water you.
You know, it's so
You
funny.
are the most beautiful plant.
Oh, you said it, girl. And you were saying all of these things that we all do in our day to day, but you've decided to slow down and become so intentional with your every movement. And I'm over here thinking like I'm intentional. I'm slowing down, but I'm not taking personally the moment to give gratitude to that moment specifically. And now that you
Mm.
said all of these things, I think I'm going to walk out of here and I'm going to be thankful to do just all of those things.
For the record,
You know what I mean?
time is slow where you're at, Jasper. Doesn't time move completely different in Georgia?
No.
It's as
Girl,
fast
these
as over
people
here?
girl, these people are crazy. Let me tell you something. These people are always getting in accidents. They are
Oh my
insane.
goodness.
As it gets hotter, people get angrier. I mean,
I could see
this
that.
is just like from the little bit of summer that I had experienced and like, whatever. But um although time does not move slower, I have made a deliberate choice to move slower.
Good for you. I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Truly.
It does take some and courage. Don't forget, like this
Yeah, I
is
think that's what it is. It's the
courageous work.
courage. It's the courage. I can be intentional, I can be slower, but it's courage that is
Yes.
lacking, you know?
Yeah.
Like for you to say, I went to the mall and I just sung my heart out. I could not. But I want to now because
That's funny.
it's
I wouldn't
courageous.
I wouldn't have thought that you would not sing at a mall. I've seen you sing in settings where I'm like, why is she singing right now?
But like you saw me. You know what I mean?
Ricky's like, this is not the appropriate
What is
time.
happening right
Not
now?
by myself. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
yeah.
weren't in
Well,
the
yeah,
choir
but
and
I
people people weren't singing along with you.
right. No, but I don't think that I would go to the mall and then just burst out in song. I don't think I would do that.
But
I haven't done that, I would say.
But I also think Natalie is suffering from becoming a mom. Where
You think so?
Yeah,
Oh no, syndrome. Becoming a mom syndrome.
becoming a mom
is
syndrome because
that?
there were certain liberties that Natalie used to exercise. There was a sense of freeing and not carelessness, but you're just a little airier, a little carefree, not careless, carefree. It was just something more, alive about you. But yeah,
think
have
I'm
a
dead?
kid and it'll fuck you all up, and then all of a sudden you're paranoid about everything
Don't
and you're
say
worried
that,
about
y'all,
everything.
because
And
my
you're like,
ovaries.
no, but
I
it's a
want to be
beautiful
a
thing.
parent so bad.
It's a part of it though. Like it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
so I think that I'm going through this like mourning stage where I'm no longer this thing that I was, but I know I'm no longer. I can still be some of those things, but now I'm discovering who this new version of myself is, and that's hard
What died?
because
Right.
the old me,
What was the old you?
I wasn't a mom.
You know what can I say?
Yes.
Natalie, before you were a mom, you were very how can I say this? You were very
Carefree.
much like you were like very feminist in a way that I feel like um I'll speak from my own experience, right? Like there
Yes.
was a point in my life where I was very activisty in like the LGBT community because I thought, I thought I was like a lesbian my whole life, and then I dated in the community, whatever.
And we've
And
talked about this.
As I have come to my own place of independence, I'm like, wow, I didn't believe some of the things that I was saying, or I didn't really have like a hard stake in it. I didn't have the experience with some of it, but I was
Yeah.
fighting battles that were not mine to fight, that were like energetically heavy.
Mm.
And maybe I could be making an assumption. I don't know,
Mhm.
girl.
Mhm.
But maybe that's how you were, because as you have become a mother, from just our conversations, it seems that some of your views have shifted or maybe become clearer to yourself.
Yes, 1,000. Yes, and I feel that with all of those beliefs and those shifts, I'm still questioning if those shifts are true and fair, and maybe, and I think there's a little bit of guilt involved in some of that.
I think you're always going to be a person
Yeah.
who questions. That's just a part of who you are. That's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
you, that you do that.
You
You'll
know,
always do
and
that.
so
Your curiosity.
and so I feel that I might be a little stuck on, because it's funny that you mentioned my feminist views. I feel like a lot of that, a lot of everything of who I thought I was and who, or what I believed, now I'm just like, is that true? Kind of like how you mentioned earlier. Is that really me? Am I being influenced by something, by someone, by some thoughts, or my current state? And now that I have a child, I'm even thinking, do I want to move forward in this way? Because my beliefs, whether they're good or not, or whatever they are, now automatically they're going to be instilled in my children. And is that what I want?
That's a lot of thinking.
Yes.
I didn't think about half of that shit.
And it's not like I'm sitting there every day with DeLuca and I'm like, oh my God, am I really thinking? But it is, because I'm not walking.
Know.
Yeah, he's gonna know what my thoughts really are. But
is there one thing in particular though that you're talking about? Like, what's the biggest thing that changed for you that you thought one way and now is different?
That's a good question.
It is, and because I had no idea what that was.
And that exact question is what I've been questioning. Like, what is it that I am sitting so heavy on? That myself is like, I'm neither here nor there, and I don't know. I can't pinpoint to you what it is that I'm either trying to let go of or bring with me.
So I'm curious.
It's like I'm rediscovering myself as this new version of me. The mother Natalie. Oof, that was weird.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mother Natalie.
Like it's kind of like this, and maybe it's me being analytical and what's that word? Compartmentalical. Compartmentalized.
Okay. Tupperware in certain areas. Okay.
So now imagine, and this is how I think of it. It's like I have thrown away every single belief, every thought, every all of my mannerisms, everything that I am. That is all in the trash. I've reset, and now I'm bringing back in little things that I feel are authentic to me. But it's difficult because I no longer want to be this other person, but now I don't know who I am.
Why don't you want to be that other person?
Because that person doesn't exist anymore.
You did not die.
I
You're
did
still
die.
here.
Maybe
I am
that
here.
person is not true to who you are now.
Yes.
After such a big transformation, after such a big birthing of not only your child, but of your new self, new parts of yourself. Maybe those old bits don't fit anymore.
Thank you.
You're like, oh, I gotta get new pants. Like, I gotta get a new shirt.
I literally got new pants. Yes.
Yes. New pants. Okay,
that is exactly it.
I don't know. I guess for me, I'm flabbergasted by that, because it's almost like you don't want anything to do with who you were before you were a mother.
I don't think it's that I don't want to have anything to do. There's just a lot of who I was that I am not carrying into this version of me anymore. It just doesn't, like, it's like Jasper said, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit into my current life. And not that
So it's not a rejection. It's like a natural release is what it sounds like.
Yes. And in this
I feel like it's a rejection. But it's good, Jasper, that you feel the opposite, because that kind of... Okay, but is there one thing in particular?
No, because like I said, I've let go all of these things and now I'm trying to rebuild. It's like a blank canvas and I'm just adding back in from the old version of
You're
me that
picking
I
and
was.
choosing
Yeah.
what you want.
And a lot of the things, it is like, for example, let me try to give me a moment to reflect a little bit.
Yes, because I'm very curious about that, because I didn't have that reflection period where I became a mother and I thought where I felt like I'm not this person anymore. I'm this whole other person, but what do I want to bring with me? Like, should I have done that? Should I?
No,
Did I miss that whole part?
No, because that's
You did what
your
you were supposed to do.
experience. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, your experience might be very different from mine. And I think one of the things, I'll give an example because we were talking about femininity a little bit. I used to be this type of person that I'm gonna carry it all. I'm going to do the groceries, clean the whole house from top to bottom. I'm gonna feed the dog and bathe him. And
Before you had a kid, that's what you thought.
Right. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm a version of that. And so me trying to be feminine, me trying to be masculine, me trying to be independent, me trying to be all of the things that I thought that I needed to be, right? And now I'm in this stage where I'm like, you know what? Why was I doing all of that? You know what, Mike? Put the painting up for me. You get the groceries. And allowing myself to be okay with that. Even though I knew Mike would have been totally cool with doing his part, the masculine side, I wanted to take on all of that. And so for me, there has been a lot of letting go of trying to be very masculine and feminine in that regard. So, you know what? I do want to just do the dishes. I do just want to cook. But can you just take the dog out, feed him, bathe him, do the handyman work? Where before I would have wanted to just take it all myself, you know?
Yeah. Not give him a chance to occupy the space that maybe he wanted to occupy. That's what I'm learning personally. Like, carry the heavy thing, but not because I'm even asking you to, but like because you want to open my door for me, but not because of anything, but because that's who you are. That's the space that you want to occupy. So let me not stand in your way. Let me let you do your thing.
Yeah.
And you will let me do my thing, which is love and nurture and sing and dance and cook and just be the love. Like, I'll be the heart and you be the strength.
But how would I get it. I understand now, right?
Coming from?
But how would it happen, right? Because like you just said, can you just do the handyman stuff? If he came and told if he came and told you, can you just do the housewife stuff? Bitch, you would not take that. You'd be like, I'm sorry, what?
Okay, but
meanwhile, I'm like, yes. Can we do that? Can we do that?
and so that's where the funny thing about this whole Mother Natalie comes in, and old Natalie are both meeting each other with what you just said is, oh, what do you mean me do the housework? No, ew, back up. But now this version of me is like, okay.
And it's just really just about finding.
And it's a battle back in my head with both of those things, with Mother Natalie and old Natalie.
I could see that. I understand now.
You see where I'm at?
I understand.
This is where I'm at. This is the current
Which is why
Natalie
it takes
state.
courage to do the thing that actually feels good, because that voice that you're battling with that wants to cling to the old way is like, no, but there is a new version of you that's like, no, this feels like the way I can honor myself the most.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that. But you have to, it's like, it takes courage,
and
because it's easy for you to default to like, let me do it all. It is really hard to be receptive.
But also, that's why communication is important, right? So, for instance, you're trying to move a certain way, right? Communicating to the people around you that are active participants in your life, right? Where you're having these conversations with these people, and you're saying like, yo, this is who I was, this is what I want to be, da 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 da, XYZ. But you're the opposite of that. Those people that are active participants in your life are going to help you identify when you're wavering back into your old or previous mom, Natalie, the other way around. I say this like Ray, right? I go 1,000 miles a minute. I'm trying to do everything. Let me do this. I got this, da 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 da. And
Ray will tell you,
stop. Don't do this. I got this. And then I have to stop and sit in my uncomfort of not doing anything, but all the while knowing that there's an active participant in my life who knows where I'm trying to go and is identifying when I need to shut the fuck up and sit down.
Yeah.
Right? So those conversations are important, right? So like I said, the people that you have, like me, now I know, right?
Yeah.
You got this whole battle up in your head. Like which is why it was kind of the way that you were saying, like, you didn't want to be that person anymore. You're not that person anymore. It did feel like you were rejecting that part of yourself. And I'm over here thinking, but I love that, Natalie. Like, why would you not want to bring that person over? Or, you know,
bring her across.
She's okay. She's cool as fuck, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I guess it's, you know, I think a lot of the battles in my head, I am trying to... How can I say this?
Figure out yourself?
No, I'm not trying to figure out myself, but sometimes I am figuring it out as it comes, and I don't like to sit with it for so long. But at the same time, I don't know how to. Maybe I do. I sit with it for so long that I don't know how to transition.
Okay.
I don't know how to transition. And so I'm like, well, you know, this is going to be me for right now. This is me, this is me, this is me. But then where's the shift? The shift, I haven't connected there.
And you're not doing any of it, meaning you're sitting there. You're not even trying to shift which way or how.
How?
Okay.
I'm not the how.
But that's not a bad thing. That's actually not a bad thing, because you're pondering like what is, like, you're doing the present thing, which is like, what do I need now? It sounds to me like, from what you've been describing this whole time, is like, when a moment comes up for you to have to make a choice between what you feel like your old self would have done versus what you feel like you actually want to do, then you're making those decisions, which is actually better than like, it's like if you're going to have an argument with somebody, you can pre-plan what you're going to say all day, every day, but that might make you defensive and unable to listen and blah, blah, blah. But if you really just let the moment come and then you allow the walls to come down, you can really communicate. And it sounds like that's what you're doing, but with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Which is also very difficult, because then they're trying to play out what exactly is happening. You know, and trying to make come up with the reasons and all of that.
I just thought of something interesting. Like, you just have to fuck it and try anything at this point. Because I'm thinking about with music, right? With music, when you're mixing songs, right? And you have one song, you're trying to get to the other song. There's a lot of different ways you can get there, right? You can match up the BPMs, right? And then it happens smoothly where you're going into the other song without still letting the other song go, and it's perfect.
Yeah.
You don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could cut it and do a hard where it still kind of works, right? Yeah. There's so many different ways. But the point is, try anything. Yeah, because if you sit there and you do think of the 1,000 ways, I'm only saying this because that's my hesitation with so many fucking things. It's like, well, you want the perfect transition. It's impossible. How are you going to get good at transitions if you don't get out there and just fucking try every which method until you find something that works? Right. And the fact is that you're going to have to find multiple ways to transition, different methods, different ways, because every situation in life is not going to be a matchup or a cut. Yeah. It's going to be sometimes even a little bit of both. But practice. Fuck shit up. Get out there. Make decisions. I'm speaking to myself at this point, okay? Yeah. But in reality, when we freeze, it's like paralysis through analysis. Ooh. Yeah. Paralysis through analysis. You ain't making any decision. Right. You ain't doing shit because you're analyzing all the 1,000 things that could go wrong. So let me just sit here in this mud.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is. That's how my personality type is, at least for someone that likes to plan and coordinate and see everything through before it happens. I'm like, I'm going to just sit in this mud. It's a little comfortable in here. Oh, it's getting warm.
It gets old. It gets old, though. Say that again, Jasper.
Can I offer a reframe?
Yes.
Yeah.
So personally, in like astrologically speaking, I have a lot of planets in Capricorn, which is earth energy, which is always very slow and solid. And I have my Mars. Mars is like the way you do things, like the way
Mm.
you perform actions. Mars is in Taurus. Taurus and Mars, like that's very like slow moving, slow to
Mm.
build up speed, like slow to go, but once you go, you go. And so
Mm.
maybe that's what you're saying. Maybe you're not sitting in the mud.
Mm.
Maybe you're sitting in the grass like me. I moved out here in August and it's March and
Mm-hmm.
I'm only just now like, I think I have the energy and maybe somewhat of a vision for what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do with my business.
I got it.
Maybe.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
maybe you're sitting on the banks, like
Yeah.
taking in, especially projector energy,
Mm.
taking in the sights, the sounds, the smells,
Mm.
taking in the inspiration from your life, like
Yeah.
really seeing it for what it is. And then when something comes along that wants to move you, you're like, oh, okay, well, I've already scoped out the land, even though I was looking at butterflies all day. I
Yeah.
know there's a path right there, and that path goes to there. So that's the one I'm actually going to take. Thank you so much. You can have this spot now. Like maybe that's what you're
Oh, that's
doing
a great
instead
way
Yeah.
to
of
look at it. That's a
sitting in
great
the mud.
reframe.
I think you've
Yeah.
given me hope.
Oh yeah.
What a relief. I'm looking at butterflies.
Yes.
What's
Yes. And enjoy it. You
Thank you,
don't know
Jasper.
the
Thank you for that.
fullness of the moment you're taking in for sure.
what's that children's book about the bull? Ferdinand, the bull.
Oh,
Does
that's
he
such a
just
cute
he just
movie.
hangs out in the pasture, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
enjoying the
No
flowers.
worries. That was such a
Mm.
You're
that's a good one.
Ferdinand.
I am. I love that.
I like that.
Well, thank you for
Yes.
that, Jasper. I'm gonna take all
Yes.
of that in, reflect on it some more, look at the butterflies, and we'll see
Yes.
what happens in a couple of months.
Or years,
Yes.
Seriously,
because
it
that's
could
her
be
whole
years.
point. It
It
could
could be
Yeah.
years.
takes time.
I could be 50.
Yes.
What 50?
Well, it's because I was remembering last week's episode when Anita talked about how she's discovering her feminine energy at 50, and you said, "Oh, I got 10 more years." It could
No,
be
I don't
20.
want
It could be 30.
and I don't want to
Could be
discover
another
my
lifetime.
femininity. The sooner I can
Mm.
tap into it, the better.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
Ricky, you better you need to call me.
I
We can
will.
totally talk. I feel like I love talking like this, but I love doing one-to-one work because you really get to like the heart of people's stuff and you
Yes.
can
Yeah,
help like real change
yeah.
instead of like theorizing with them like in the form of this, but like you can really
Mm.
help somebody. So if you ever want to talk about it and if you ever want to like explore those things, your fears or like what you might actually really want, that I don't know about you, but sometimes I need somebody to prompt me so that I can understand what I'm thinking
Yes.
and what
Mm.
I'm feeling. So if you ever need that, you already know I'm here for you.
I'm gonna call you Jasper, and you've always been a wonderful support to my entire family. I had a session with Jasper and my daughters
Mm-hmm.
that just like
Yeah.
oof,
Yes.
that was a major breakthrough between my daughters and myself.
Yeah.
What they were lacking from me, and Jasper kind of just helped open all of that up and lend a space for their vulnerability, my vulnerability.
And
it
get
was
some
it, wa-
change.
it was
I love
probably
y'all.
it was probably one of the most effective sessions, and I compare it to traditional therapy
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah,
going and you're
definitely.
doing in work. There's a way that Jasper delivers emotions and truths that you just bend the knee and you go with it, and it's very helpful.
She said
I'm
that.
truly am grateful for Jasper. Jasper, since you're gonna be, I know that you said that you had taken a pause from doing this work, but you're gonna be
Yes.
returning into this space. Would you mind telling our listeners where they can book your sessions or find your Instagram or what have you?
Yes. So I am in the process of getting my booking site back up, but if anybody wants a session, of course, you can DM me on Instagram, jasper.moonchild. That is my Instagram. For now, DMs work best. And we can work out pricing for sessions and things like that because everybody needs healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, booking page will be up soon. There will be a link in my Instagram profile soon. I'm not rushing that process though. So for now,
Mm.
DMs work. So yes, DM me, Jasper Moonchild. TikTok is Jasper Moonchild. If I have it, that's what it's going to be. If it's not that, it ain't me.
Thank you for sharing that, and we'll put that on the show notes as well, and as we promote our this episode on Instagram too, so that way people know they can click and they can start following you, because you've been like we were mentioning, you've been such a big help to myself, to Ricky, to our whole family. So we want to continue that and pay that forward too, and give everyone a little bit of you. And
I would love to receive.
oh, Jasper, as we're closing, I don't want to forget to ask you 3 important questions that we ask all of our guests when they come onto our show.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
The first question is, when was the first time you fell in love?
Ooh, shit. When was the first time I fell in love? Ooh.
I love her enthusiasm with that. Like, it was good. I want to know.
No, I love that because I'm thinking about a situation when I was a teenager, but really, I feel like the first time I fell in love was probably with my grandpa. Because he was like the only present man in my life, and he was like such a grumpy man, but I just loved being in his presence, you know?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like, because he was a present masculine force in my life. So yes,
Oh,
I was baby. I was little.
Oh, that was a perfect answer.
Oh,
that's your grandpa. When was the last time you cried?
Ooh, the last time I cried was a few days ago.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, I was crying over. Yeah, I can share. Like I said, I'm seeing somebody, and we are not in a relationship, but we're really going very slow and being intentional about honoring ourselves and each other and figuring out how we want us to look so that we can do it in the healthiest way.
Ooh.
We're very much on the same page about things, but the other day there was just like what I perceived was him like crossing a line for me, and I thought that I was going to lose him. Like, I thought I was going to have to walk away from him, and he has been also another very healing masculine force in my life, who's been safe, comforting, and who celebrates my femininity, my softness. And I thought that I was going to lose that in him specifically, and it made me so sad and heartbroken. We did mushrooms, and we did a whole bunch of things, and we spoke like with deep truth and healing and understanding, and we healed a lot within ourselves and between each other. So we're good, and I'm no longer crying, but that is what made me cry.
Wait, so you were on mushrooms when you cried?
No, I wasn't. I was not on mushrooms, and I was crying, and then he called me over here to come get mine, and then we wound up talking, and then we wound up doing them together that night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh,
very beautiful experience.
Mushrooms for the win all the time, man.
So mushrooms saved the day?
Yes, truly. They didn't save the day, really. Like, both of us really like genuinely loving each other and wanting to build a solid foundation and communicate clearly and openly and honestly. That saved the day. Mushrooms really revealed the depth of our connection, the depth and the strength of our connection to each other. So yeah,
that's inspiring. I think for anyone that
wants to do mushrooms,
who wants to do mushrooms, and who's in this, just
do them with your husband.
Whoever's
specifically
like
golden teachers.
Wait, which
what
one?
is it?
Specifically golden teachers, and if you need a hookup, I got you. But
I've heard of golden
specifically
teachers.
Golden teachers, yes, do them.
I haven't done golden teachers, but
do them with your husband, girl.
I'm gonna do golden teachers. I am writing it down because I'll forget.
Wait, can you do golden teachers alone?
Yes.
If you don't have a husband?
Yeah, you can do anything. Girl, I have done mushrooms alone approximately like 5 times since I've moved here. And each time has been a very healing experience. It's just really heart opening when you have a partner. Like, especially if you have a partner, I don't know how your relationship is, but if there's any friction or whatever, like, it's really good for you to see like mushrooms, they're like a gateway into love. They are like our oldest ancestors. Natalie, I think you and I were watching that documentary on Netflix, Fantastic Fungi.
Okay.
They made me watch that. They made me watch that entire documentary. I was high. They were feeding me mushrooms while I was watching that documentary. Blew my mind.
Yes.
Blew my mind. I loved it.
Yes. They are our ancestors. They are our lover. They're our teachers. They're our guides. They're our parents. They are so wonderful.
Maybe we should really do an episode Are you down? You're not down because you're a mom. I have a baby.
I'm a mom.
And
Not right now. It's not the time. But I do recommend the Fantastic Fungi documentary on Netflix to everyone listening right now, because it's definitely like the way that I see life is just completely different ever since I've watched it. Regardless of the mushrooms, it's a game changer for sure.
Last question.
Absolutely, girl.
Last question. What have you told your inner child lately?
Ooh, what
I'm
I
so
told
happy that I
her.
asked you this specifically, because
I love this. I love this. The most recent thing that I told her was that she is lovable. But a lot of times I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, girl, I'm so fucking happy I get to be you. You made me who I am. Like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be me. I'm so grateful to you. I love you. Thank you for being so strong. Thank you for being so kind. Thank you for being so loving, because that is reflected in me now. Thank you for letting me protect you. Yeah.
That one was good.
Jasper, I think just anytime that you speak, I'm like, I feel 10 pounds lighter. Truly.
You should do one of those Audible books, Jasper. You should do an Audible book.
Yes.
I'd listen to you to go to sleep.
I'm going to start doing meditations. I'm definitely going to start doing meditations.
You should be perfect for that.
Yeah. You
should be perfect for that.
Perfect voice. Oh, Jasper, well, thank you.
I have things in the works.
Yeah, girl, and I'm happy and I'm excited to hear and see all of what you're working on, because sign me up immediately.
Oh, thank you. I love you. Thank you so much. Such a supportive soul. And when you start shipping plants, you gotta let me know, because I'm telling you,
that plant's gonna show up dead, hot.
I really want to figure it out.
I bought them online before.
Yes, I've seen people ship. Different businesses do ship, and I'm trying to figure out the most effective way to ship, as far as like the cost and the amount of just like the things that go into the box in order to protect the
Auto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's a boxing expert.
I'll have to talk to her. I'll have to talk to her.
Okay.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, girl. Well, as soon as I can get a plant over to you, I will. But thank you so much again, Jasper, for chatting with us and sharing your story and giving us, a tapping session, and all of that great stuff. So if you want to hang out after my closing, so that we can chat it up with the people on our Twitch chat, we would greatly appreciate it. Okay, so hang tight.
Hang tight.
Okay.
Today's episode was produced live by Raymond Andrew at Rose City Sound with your hosts, myself, I'm Natalie, and Ricky Lee.
Ew.
For inquiries, topics, suggestions, and sponsorships, please email us at onthisfrequency@gmail.com. On This Frequency is available where all podcasts can be streamed. Watch a live stream recording every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch at twitch.tv/onthisfrequency. You can watch us on YouTube, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to be notified whenever we upload new episodes. You can always support the On This Frequency team by buying us some coffee, which we're actually enjoying right now. Thank you so much for your donations. You can donate to buymeacoffee.com/onthisfrequency. Keep in touch with us on Instagram and Twitter. Our handle is simply On This Frequency. Now, stay tuned on Twitch. We're closing this episode with your comments and questions right after this.
Vénganse, vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a cantar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a llorar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a fumar hoy, hoy, hoy. Vamos a jugar hoy, hoy, hoy.
Standing, that's 100%.
I know, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
I gotta work on that myself. But I do have a question, Jasper. As calming and soothing as you are, like, I love it. When's the last time you really got mad? Like, you were pissed. You were like, fuck all this healing shit.
So funny.
None of it fucking works. This is bullshit. When is the last time you thought that none of, you know what I mean? Like, it all sucked.
That none of it works?
Yeah.
Well, to me, that's a lie, because it has proven to be very true in my life. But a few weeks ago, maybe days ago, I was at work, and there was like this person, and he was just like, you're so fucking stupid, and you don't know whatever, like really just being so rude to me. I do like a phone job. I work from home. And then the funny thing is, and I was pissed. Like, I came to my guy's house, and I was like, this fucking guy, and he's so fucking lucky I was at work because blah, 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 whatever, pissed, right? And I was just like, I returned that energy back to him, and I fucking blah, 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 whatever. And then the next day he called and he was talking to me, and he was like, I was talking to somebody last night, and she was just so incompetent. You've only been there just a couple months. She's only been there just a couple months, but you know so much. You're so great about your job, blah, blah, blah. Girl, the next day, like my first call the next day was him.
No.
Just the last call of the previous day with the asshole, first call of that day, and he was so kind, and it was like completely different story. He was like, you're so smart, you know everything, you're so great, can I tell your supervisor about you? I was like, this is funny. But yes, that was the last time. But this work, like this stuff that I am doing really works. And I practice what I preach. I don't tell anybody to do things that I wouldn't do.
Right.
And this is the result of that. I used to be such an energetically heavy person, really sad and depressed and blah, blah. And now I'm just like the happiest little flower, you know?
One
I'm
of
just a
our
dandelion.
one of our viewers, Cisco Kid, says you throw crystals at people that piss you off, so to speak. But you use crystals as well, don't you?
It depends. I'm not like a person who uses them because they people say that they work. Like I buy them because they're pretty, and if they speak to me to use them, I will. But for the most part, I only have like a few that I use on a regular basis. But the rest, I just think they're really beautiful. So
I got you.
yeah, yeah, and no, yeah.
So you would throw them at people? I'm just kidding.
Would I throw them at you? I mean, look, that would be like a great weapon. I'm not gonna lie, and I have thought about it, especially when I used to live by myself. I was like, yeah, if somebody busts up in here,
Hey,
I
you
could
throw
definitely hit him with this
whatever is
big
at
ass.
arm's reach. You do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So I was just asking Jasper about her being angry or what she does, and she gave a great story. But I want to move on to a comment that Amy said about she hasn't gone through motherhood, but it really resonated about you configuring who you are now, like who you are, where you're trying to go.
Mm,
And I think it's interesting because Jasper, you would also say that you've gone through that period where you're like, what the hell is going on? Who am I? What's happening? Like
yes.
even with your your losses. I'm trying to really think. Like I don't think I've ever had that moment where I'm like where I've been aware of, hey, this is you're trying to figure yourself out. I don't think I've necessarily
Yeah.
been that direct with myself. I think it's just kind of like happened
Mm,
as blows come along.
Yeah. You just kind of
yeah.
going with it.
Yeah, which I don't think has worked, but we'll see. We'll see how that pans out.
But it's just
I'm so
it's
done. She's
just
like,
our
"Ah."
like our different experiences, right? Like you've grown up in this way of I'm going, I'm doing, you might even be reflecting as you're going, and trial and error is very much what you're accustomed to, right? Like just
Right.
I'm just gonna go into this and then let the result. I'll just figure it out with whatever result that I get.
Right.
Right.
And then also too, I remember before you actually had your kid, I was thinking about how when I had my kids, it was just it was a nightmare. Like my kids did not come into this family the way that your son is coming into this family. Like there's been a lot of resolution between all of our family trauma in between that time.
Yeah.
I found myself kind of thinking like, you know what? We got to make sure that Natalie has this good setting. We have to make sure that De Luca has this good setting and that he doesn't go through shit and nothing bad happens because we've already paid the price so that they can have like a smooth transition, a good life, But that's also a lot of pressure too, right? Because that doesn't mean that that's going to prevent anything bad from happening to you guys or from life happening to you guys, It's
Yeah, because life is always happening. I think that I've also done a lot of work myself, just in general, but but very much more intentional as soon as I found out that I was pregnant, right? Because like you said, there was a lot of things that I wanted to resolve within myself, resolve within my side of the family, and all for the benefit of the future generations. And that's something that we talk about all of the time, that we want to leave something. And for me, it's been I don't know that I'm gonna leave riches and wealth to my children. Maybe that would be great, but I want to make sure that at the very least I can say, you know what, I've tried and really wanted to work on myself and heal myself so that you don't have to go through the things that I went through or that your father went through or your grandparents, so that we can leave that behind and really be open and honest about that type of conversation, which is also why the podcast is really important to me, to be able to put ourselves in a vulnerable position so that they can know that it's okay to be vulnerable, because it's taken me even up to this point to say like, I'm vulnerable or I'm trying to be vulnerable. At least there's that.
That's a great gift.
I think so. I
That's
don't
a
think a
great
lot of
gift.
people are vulnerable. I fucking struggle with that every day, even now.
So when do you expect vulnerability from people?
When do I expect it?
I feel like you get it all the time from me in particular.
Yeah.
Like constantly. There's not a moment with you, like, and I specifically, right?
Yeah.
You know that you can ask me something and I'm just gonna
tell me, yeah. And we've established that relationship. When do I think? Well, I think that people are only gonna be as vulnerable as you allow them. Like, whenever, I don't know that you've had, and maybe this might be a little bit easier for you to respond to, whenever let's say that you share something personal with somebody and then they just don't want to talk about it, or they keep it short and they walk away. You would have expected vulnerability from that person because you were vulnerable. But that doesn't always reciprocate, right?
1000%. Yeah, that doesn't always happen.
So I think there's like a trust, or not. It's not even trust. I think it's maybe rapport that is built over time.
Yeah, you got to try it.
Where then you can expect some type of vulnerability from another person.
You got to test it out. You got to try it.
Yeah.
Because you're right. If they don't reciprocate it, or if it's not, then you're not going to try that again with that person.
Or
I get
might
it.
take you longer.
I get it.
What is Amy saying?
She says, it's always funny when you read these things back because...
Yeah.
So talking on the motherhood, Amy says, not listening to all the stories that we tell ourselves. But why do I do it that way? Have I ever asked? Or is there a different way? All of that hit just right tonight for things I'm working on. It's so nice to be in like-minded company. And again, Amy's one of those followers and viewers that putting your business out there again, Amy. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. The voice in her head is her mom's voice, right? Her mom's voice, because she's the one who made me think, well, who the fuck is in my voice and where does that voice come from?
Yeah.
So and that's why, Jasper, I'm glad that you were able to touch on how you were able to squash your sister's voice, what your sister told you. Has that been a recent thing, or I imagine it took a minute to shovel that voice out.
Yeah, it didn't go away like immediately. And it didn't go away like immediately. So it started off that I would still hear her voice, but I'd be like, that is not, like, I had a distinct realization that that was not me. And then it was like, she would say such and such a thing. And I was like, well, who cares what she would say? She doesn't exist,
Yeah.
If I don't want a person to exist, they don't exist. Like people that I used to work with when we worked at autos, they don't exist if I don't want them to exist, right? Because I'm not there anymore.
Right.
And so, or if they don't want me to exist, vice versa. So I was like, okay. And so now she doesn't really come up as a factor in my life unless I'm telling a story about my past. But now I can tell those stories with like lightness in my heart. And like even the other day I was thinking, I came to Georgia because she went to my grandma's house and she hated me so much, and I was supposed to be living there, and she was working from my grandma's house because she works from home too.
She, your sister, right?
I was like, my sister, yes. And I
Okay.
was like, wow, she was so mean. Like, I was so mad at her at the time and like sad, and everything was so sad. And then I realized she was doing her job. Like, she was supposed to get me out of there so I could come here. Like, she was just doing her job. And her whole life, she was just doing her job. She was a catalyst to a lot of my growth. That was what she was supposed to do.
Can I confirm or ask, do you have currently a relationship with your sister?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I wish it wasn't the case, but I think that she has a lot of healing that she needs to do, and I just refuse to be a part of that those
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's a you don't want to put yourself in. You are doing your own healing, and you don't need to be brought down by whatever she has going on in her life.
Necessary boundaries.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, because she will be like a bomb. Like she will make you experience what she would like for you to experience. So you really have to be
Mm,
like, do I want to deal with that? And I think a lot of times when people are talking about like family, it's
yeah.
important to understand that yes, they share your blood, but are they your family?
Mm.
Like
Uh,
you both are my family.
Yes.
oh, thank you,
You know,
Jasper.
like y'all are family.
Yeah.
I love my sister. She is my sister, but she is not my family.
Yeah.
Yep. I
She
get that.
hasn't showed up for
Yeah.
you in the way that you would have needed, wanted,
Or allowed me to
appreciated.
show up for her in a way that I would have wanted or needed, or you know what I
Ah.
mean? Like haven't been able to give or receive in a way that would have been nourishing for either of us. So it's like
Mm.
it's not beneficial.
Got it.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I think you have a point that whenever it comes to family, we don't know how to set boundaries there. And we think we
Mhm.
can't or that we shouldn't because they're our family, but sometimes they don't bring anything fruitful to our life.
Yes. And
The,
that's okay. Like that
Yeah.
could be their purpose.
Yeah.
So,
Or it could be seasonal too.
I actually never thought
could be.
about it being their purpose, which is interesting because the one evil voice that I have in my head is a family member, and I
Mm.
do not. I don't feel guilty about not having a relationship with her anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
yeah,
Yeah.
even
Before,
Jasper just reaffirmed
yes,
that, right?
and it was like, all right. I always felt like I had to have a relationship with her.
Yeah,
We had
because she's
to.
your
We're
family.
family. She's older, so respecting. No,
Yeah.
there's no need
No.
there,
Cuz
and I
you
don't.
should respect me too.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I would still feel like the
The-
as adults, I would still feel like a little fucking kid around her, like,
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
inner child would take
yeah.
over and she was
Yes.
scared.
But I like Jasper's perspective. She had a purpose. She 100% had to come talk trash, and I had to learn how to disintegrate
Yes.
that.
Ah,
Yes.
she's your
Oh,
lesson
yes. Like
learned.
yes, absolutely. I would not be this like beautiful, dynamic woman that I am. I would not be like this
Ooh,
person that
yeah.
makes me proud, proud,
Amen.
damn proud. If I didn't have that, if I hadn't been through the adversity that I've gone through, I'm thankful
Mm.
for all of it, all the traumas, all the pain, all of it from a genuine place because I wouldn't be who I am and be able to touch so many people and help so many people if I hadn't experienced exactly what they go through.
Right. That's what's
Yeah.
up. We just gotta love all the
Yeah.
hits. We gotta love all the terrible things all the losses. Just give it a big
Okay.
hug and say
Yeah.
hello, losses.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
here for it.
Thank you,
Yes. And
right?
that is shadow work. Yes.
I'm
Wow.
That's all
tired.
shadow
I
work.
need to take a nap.
Yeah.
Jasper, you make my soul want to take a nap. Like
I
legit.
know, because you probably did process a lot. I don't,
Mm-hmm.
and see, and this is why I was saying projectors are best if we are invited versus if we just bulldoze our way in.
Mm.
Because,
Yeah.
Yep.
yes.
I'm gonna
So,
I'm gonna look up my human
oh,
design again.
Me too.
I need to revisit
yes,
all of that because that's
yes,
a big thing.
We have
yes.
another listener, 80, who says learning this to pass along to my mother. She's going through it with her siblings. It's even tougher when it's with
Ooh.
your siblings. When it's your direct sibling that you
Mm,
suddenly don't have a connection with, or suddenly wish you had
Yeah.
something different, and just accepting that this is what it is and that's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't
yeah,
get what you need
yeah,
from the people you want.
Yes.
yes.
I
You
just
cannot control an outside force.
No.
yeah, I had just sent a text to both Ricky and Ray about my parents and I was like, "You know what? I fought tooth and nail with these people forever about the way they treated me, the way they didn't treat me, what I wanted from them, what they gave me, what they didn't give me. And all of that, you know what? I'm at peace. They did
Hold
Yeah,
on.
it's all okay.
When did you
yeah.
become at peace with it? Like recently?
Recently.
Okay, well, I became at peace with it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Recently.
Oh yeah, let me tell you a story. It's a great story. So I'm at this conference on trauma, healing,
Uh-huh.
and all this stuff. Right? We're watching this video about Oprah, and they're interviewing her, and Oprah says, "Yeah, the things that I needed from family, from very important people, I didn't get." So they're like, "Well, who did you get it from?" And she
Yeah.
says, My 4th grade teacher, Mrs. What was her name? Do you remember her name, Ray? I can't remember her name. We'll just call her Mrs. Laura, okay? My 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Laura, was the first person who allowed me to believe in myself, cultivated, like, poured into me. It was her 4th grade teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her 4th grade teacher made her feel like she mattered.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So then I text that video and I send it to Hector and I send it to Ray. And I'm like, you guys are my Mrs. Laura. Because from the male perspective. From the male perspective. Because my Aunt Rosie very much, rest in peace, was a big supporter, and I loved her. And she very much made me feel like I mattered.
Yeah.
But from men, that has not been the case for me. I've not felt like I've mattered to men. Specifically, like my dad, right? Or my brother. I've not gotten that kind of love or attention. Not until, and I was falling apart in that stupid class because I'm like, I'm 40-something years old and I'm just starting to feel comfortable, supported, loved, and encouraged by people who are not even my blood family.
Yeah. And so you've created
but
this.
they are still your family.
Yes. And so so then you're at peace with whatever your father and your mother gave you, however
I'm good with it. I'm good because now I feel safe in the comfort of, their presence. Like, Ray and Hector, who push me to my boundaries, who like, even if this is ridiculous, right? Even if I make mistakes, they're not going to abandon me. I literally would have this fear,
right,
that if I fucked up, I'm going to now lose people that are important to me. And I've fucked up a lot of times in front of Hector and Ray. They haven't left, like they're still here. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I'm not, I'm not doing something ridiculously wrong.
Yeah.
Was heartbreaking to me that at this age, I just started to feel that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
maybe we should start in like implementing in schools or in our family or in our wherever it has to be implemented. The fact that there's going to be people in your life, whether they're family or not, that are there to support you, to teach you, to help you grow, and just take it.
Yeah.
Accept it.
From whoever gives it to you.
Yeah.
And then take care of those people who give it to you.
Yeah.
And then that builds a beautiful relationship of reciprocation and investment and love. And that's life. Then it's good.
Yeah.
And trust.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
1000%. That was a really great. That was good.
I like that.
I feel good.
I feel good too.
Yeah. Ladies, I'm not going to lie. I'm tired.
Let's go to bed. What time is it in Georgia?
It is 11 o'clock.
She's like, I'm tired. I'm done with you people.
Yes.
Thank you, Jasper, for healing us.
Yes. Thank you for everything.
Helping us heal.
Yes.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
I love you. You heal yourselves. I show you the way, but you do the thing. I show you my way. You do your own thing.
Thank you,
So thank you for receiving, and thank you for inviting me. I'm so grateful.
We love you.
We love you, Jasper. We'll be in touch, and I'm going to call you about that feminine conversation.
I got you, girl. I love you both.
All right.
And I love all of your listeners. Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
Good night, everybody.
We love you. Good night. Bye.